So now that you know how to take a blood pressure, I can explain to you what it means. So if you remember earlier in the video, I told you to mark the tap number that is when you started to hear the quarter cough noises or the blood hitting the walls of your arteries. And on my patient, her systolic number or the tap number when I first started to hear the blood hitting the walls of her arteries was 120. And what this represents is this is the amount of pressure that is in your arteries when your heart is contracting, or in an easier way to put it, is when your heart is pumping blood out to your body. Now, the second number I told you to mark was the number when you stop hearing the quarter cough noises. And what this is with my patients was 88, and the average is around 80. And the diastolic number represents the amount of pressure that is in your arteries when your heart is at rest or so doing nothing. So now I can tell you and give you an idea or an example of how we can tell if this is good or bad. So a lot of people are familiar with anaphylactic shock. So when you get stung by a bee, let's say, or end up eating peanuts and you're allergic and you have an anaphylaxis reaction, what happens is your blood vessels dilate. So now you have a bigger container with the same amount of fluid in it, and now the pressure is going to be less against the walls of the arteries. Therefore, the blood pressure is going to be lower. So we give the patient epinephrine or an EpiPen, and that causes the blood vessels to constrict or to get smaller. So now you have a smaller jar with the same amount of blood, so the pressure is going to go back up and be stronger against your walls of the artery. Therefore, your blood pressure is going to go back up.